Before, I viewed marketing as a slot machine, and you throw something in and hope it works and you hope you get hot. What I've learned over the past couple of years of working together and really dialing in messaging that aligns with our business, it's such a predictable form of acquisition now, where it removes a lot of the mental hangups or that scarcity mindset. So I view it as it's an integral part of just what we.
All right, guys, welcome back to the FitRev podcast. So today we have Brad, who's a partner here at FitRev. Brad runs a facility called Velocity Human Design and Optimization out in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He does a PT model first and then ascends people into small group. Currently working with us and working together for the last few years, we've helped Brad go from kind of being stuck at around $30,000 a month to building a really significant jump in the last year, all the way to $60,000 per month in recurring revenue. So, Brad, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I am stoked to be here and see your lovely face today.
Let's go. Let's dive in. So I wanted to talk today. I wanted to take you back. Let's talk about your mindset as a business owner, kind of at each stage of business, right? So like early on, what were you thinking about when you opened the doors? Like, what was the thought process? Was it build it and they will come? Like, all my dreams are going to come true right away? What was the reality? Let's just start off stage one. You open the doors. What were you thinking those first 1-2 years in business?
Yeah. So going into it, I thought the big hurdle was opening the gym. I thought it was exiting a career and opening the facility. And it was like the big goal I was chasing. It's like, okay, like the pinnacle is opening. And I didn't really think about anything beyond that. So I was kind of like the dog that finally caught the car he was chasing. So then I'm like, oh no, now what do I do with this? So that first, really, I would say 6 months or so of owning it, we lost all of our savings. I was funding it through my personal savings every month. We were going backwards. And I remember looking at my wife one day. She was on the Concept 2 bike, and we were waiting for clients to show up for sessions, not knowing if they would or not, because we had no booking software. And we had been working 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. every day, despite having less than 20 clients and running a really inefficient schedule. And we looked at each other and we're like, oh my gosh, like, what do we do? We thought we would have clients come from other facilities we worked at before, and we thought we'd have this big opening, and it just didn't really materialize like that. So we were in a pretty scarce place. At the time I was doing whatever I could to make money. So it was, if it was doing odd jobs, whatever, to fund the gym, I was doing it. And so we operated that way for the first 6 months before realizing we probably should learn marketing. We, like everyone in 2018, we kind of cut our teeth with gym launch. That's like where we started out. And I think we threw $16,000 on a credit card, which was more money than I had in everything combined. I think we had probably less than a couple grand at that time. We did it and it worked. We got clients just like they said we would. And it was like amazing. We found like the secret, like this is it. You just turn on paid ads, you run a free offer, and people hand you $500. It's a printing press. What happened is we ran it that way for like kind of that boom or bust for about a year and a half after. And taking us into, I would say almost 2019, close to 2020. COVID happened. We lost most of our client base, and we had to do some like real reassessing when we were reopening. We started running the same old offers we used to do, kind of worked. And the mindset then, though, was just all about acquisition. It was all about front-end revenue, and it was about what can I get the revenue to. Mm-hmm. So I would say the first couple years we operated like that. It was a tremendous sense of scarcity of like, we don't have enough cash. Whatever we need to do to generate cash, let's do that.
And no real thought. What did you get to? If you were kind of running this model, paid ads, 6-week challenge, gym launch system. What did you
Yeah.
get to in revenue?
So mind you, our operational expenses are very low. I always like to throw in that caveat with our business. Um, and it was just my wife and I. We were doing, I think, 14,000, like 12 to 14 typically. We had a month where we hit 20. And after COVID, we dropped down to about 8 grand a month, which was pretty scary, not knowing how we were going to rebuild everything. So we tried our old acquisition model again. It kind of worked. We got back to that 15, 20 mark. But then something happened where I realized did not enjoy the business I built. Um, I looked around one day and I walked into a session. I remember this like it was yesterday, Jay. I walked in and there was someone on a one wheel riding around the gym. Someone had a puppy in the gym that was running around. Like everyone was just like, there's just chalk and junk everywhere. I was like, what is happening in here? Like, this is not what I want to be doing. Like, I'm not helping people the way I thought I would. So my wife and I realized, like, all right, something has to change. And we made a decision. Around that year, we were getting married. And we got back from our wedding, which we had to close for a week to do because it was just the two of us and a part-time coach at the time. And we said, all right, we would rather go out of business than continue operating the way that we're doing things. So we're going to try and do this the way we truly believe. And that meant for us that we were going to really focus on fulfillment. And that was about 4 years ago now. And there's been a lot of growth since then, a lot of continuous refinement. We went through a rebrand during that time. So my mindset focused from acquisition to fulfillment. And I stayed in that fulfillment bucket for about 2 years before I even considered any form of marketing again.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say years probably 4 through 6, we operated that way.
Got it. Got it. So 4 through 6. And that brought you, once you started focusing on fulfillment, because it's funny, we tell gym owners all the time, if you never lost a client, would you be looking for more leads?
Exactly.
Probably not. Probably
Absolutely not. There's no way.
Go ahead.
So I love that point you bring up. If you never lost a client, would you be talking about marketing? And I like to take that one step further. And I say this to a lot of owners. If you're a client of mine one-on-one, a gym owner, you've probably heard me say this and you probably hated hearing it initially. But that is, until you are so good at delivering outcomes for people, where they know if they hand you money, all of their dreams come true. There would be a line of people down the street begging to get into your facility because you're the only place around doing that. So until we're that good with fulfillment, we probably shouldn't be talking about marketing because there's plenty of opportunity for fulfillment still. And I see this a lot with owners who've been open, 5+ years. You ask them, what's their retention? Oh, I don't lose anybody. Well, if that were the case, we wouldn't be having a conversation right now. So usually like your attrition numbers are off. And then if I ask them the question, and this is something that hit me in the face, we all have clients who start with us and we do a great consultation and we dig deep into their pain and we figure out what's wrong. We sell them the dream. And then a year later, do we know if that person actually had the outcome that we told them that would happen for them? Are we tracking that anywhere? Probably not. And so I started reevaluating everything about our business. Like, oh my gosh, we've been so focused on marketing and acquisition and offers and like coming up with a compelling 6, 8, 12-week offer. We didn't think about, are we actually doing what we said we would do for these people?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's really easy to be spoiled with good marketing. And I think a major shift that has happened over the last, I would say like 18 months to 2 years is those gyms that were like good marketers, but bad gym owners, like bad at actually delivering outcomes to their clients. They're getting smacked in the face with higher lead costs, just the transition that's happened where you used to be able to just run a Facebook ad and print money. You have to actually be good. There's just a major recession in trust, even in a local market that we just haven't seen until very recently. So your marketing has to be good, but also you as the gym owner have to be good. And so we can get into that on a whole other podcast about our marketing system and how we do things a little bit differently. But I want to bring it back to your mindset. So once you made this shift in your mindset, I'm going to only focus on fulfillment. I'm going to just deliver the best I can to clients. And by the way, we have 30 other podcasts coming on how do you actually deliver outcomes to your clients. But once that became the focus, when did you you were down to 8 grand a month after COVID,
Hmm.
you maybe started some marketing, then you were like, you know what, I'm going to focus on fulfillment. When did you start to see the light? When was it like, wow, this is working? And we went from 15K, 20K, 25K, and we were like, wow, our clients are paying more money, they're staying
Hmm.
longer, they're referring people, and I haven't spent $1 on Facebook ads in a long time. When did that all click for you? Like, okay, this is the way.
Yeah. So this is where I think faith is an absolute superpower, because it didn't get better. I tell this story to clients or to gym owners a lot of time, like because you hear like, okay, we're going to switch to fulfillment, and that's all that matters, and everything's going to be amazing. And this is the part of the story where people expect like, and then everything turned around. Well, it didn't. For about 6 months, we struggled tremendously. Um, we raised our rates, we changed our fulfillment, all that good stuff. And I think we had about 80 clients at the time when we started making these changes, right? And we were probably doing a little over 20 a month. And we have this big, I share this story a lot, but we have this wall of Polaroids in the gym when you walk in. It's on the left-hand side, right when you walk in the door. And it's every client we have, their Polaroid photo. And I would walk in, and every day, I swear, like this wall was getting smaller, the amount of clients that we had when we were changing our fulfillment, changing our pricing structure. And so I would walk in the gym and literally put my hand over my eyes and walk by it. And I would do that. I did that for about 2 months because I didn't want it to get in my head that we were losing clients and that this wasn't working. So every day I'd walk in, I would do that. And I was just so committed in my head, like, no, I know this is right. I know if we just take care of people and we do what we say we're going to do and we deliver the outcome, that this will turn around. It's just a matter of when. So after about 6 months of doing that, what happened is we hit this inflection point where, sure, our clients were cut in about half, but the bleeding stopped, but our average revenue per member had almost doubled. So we hit this equilibrium. And then for the first time, we went positive 1 month. Like we netted 2 clients. And at that moment for me, I was like, okay, proof of concept. That's all I needed. I don't need another like 30,000 on the board. I just need to see like we gained anyone from this. And we did. So from there it was, okay, let's refine this, let's make it better. And we spent about 2 years doing that before we did any paid marketing. I didn't feel we had earned the right to market. And I think that was a big differentiation I made in my head. It was you earn the right to market. You do not get to market a bad product if you're not doing what you say you're going to do. You need to work on fulfillment. So I looked at marketing as like the thing at the end of the road rather than the start of it. And that really changed things for us.
Yeah, it's funny. We get in touch with gym owners that think marketing is going to save their gym when in reality they just are, for lack of a better word, just bad at delivering the outcomes they say they can deliver. And so what I would ask you, Brad, is, if someone's watching this and because when you're starting out, right, and you have 8 clients, you're very agile. You can change
Hmm.
your service overnight, right?
Yeah.
When you have 200 group members and you're thinking, man, I'm on this like hamster wheel of I need to market, I'm getting people in, I'm losing a lot of people also. Like we're stuck in this model and we've been in business a while, like things are generally okay, but to your point, maybe you're not super proud of the business that you're running, or maybe you don't, really feel aligned with like the outcomes that you're delivering, or the people that are coming in are just not the right fit, they don't have the right mindset. What would you say to someone that's a little bit more established that is looking to make a change, which is kind of feels like in this like almost like golden handcuffs, like they're stuck, they have a business, it's doing okay.
Uh-huh.
How do we change and how do we do something else?
Yeah. I use this analogy that if we have a boat with people on it, and let's say in the example, we have 200 clients on this boat. Well, if we whip a 180, we're going to have some people fall off the boat. So my philosophy, because I didn't have the luxury of like, oh, I can just rip off the Band-Aid and change everything overnight. I had to do kind of like a slow turn with this stuff. And we'll get into fulfillment on some additional podcasts in the future where we can really dive into how that happens. But I looked at it as like this would be a slow turn. And we want to lose as few as possible, convert the right ones. But by doing that really big slow turn, it allowed us to do it correctly without going way backwards in revenue and going out of business, and not making emotional decisions. So it is a slow turn to do it. Um, a lot of owners love speed with all their decision making. That's great. This is not one of those things we should do, because also we need to learn what works and what doesn't during this time. To assume that we can magically flip our model overnight and know exactly what it should look like without testing anything is a little bit foolish. So I would say patience is a massive part of this game, and really having a firm belief and firm vision of what it is you want your business to look like. And I don't think that's something most owners know. When I get on calls with them for their first intake, they can tell me what they want their revenue to be, but what type of clients do you want to work with? How do you want to help them? What type of impact do you want to have in the community? Are you wanting to ever sell your gym? If you didn't have to, if you could make enough money and be totally absolved from the business and retire one day, would you even sell it? These are questions that we want to really get clear on. So
And I
slow
think
and steady
you
process.
made a good point there. Yeah, it's slow and steady, and also like, let's make it super practical. You run a group facility, you're kind of like churn and burn. You sell fitness, you're getting 10 referrals, you're running marketing, you're getting a few sales a month, but you also lose 5, 10 clients a month. Really, in our experience, right, it starts with one. Like
Hmm.
all you have to do, if we think about delivering outcomes, what if you were to pull one person from class that's really struggling to keep up, or like in the back of your mind that this is not the right fit for them, and you pulled them over to a personal training, solution, just to spend more one-on-one time with them, maybe offer some nutrition support, and now you're starting to do the things that deliver outcomes, but it starts with one person. And then
Yep.
you're like, wow, Susie was kind of lost in classes for 12 months or the last whatever amount of time. And now she's getting the best results of anyone in our gym. What happened there? And then suddenly you start to put it all together like maybe that's our onboarding process, right?
Yes.
Maybe everyone goes through PT first. And so you don't have to rip the band-aid off. You don't have to flip your model, overnight. You can do it literally one client at a time,
Hmm.
prove the concept, and then roll it out to more people, do beta tests, and then just new people that come in through referrals or ads, they can go into that new process that you've outlined and proven.
Yeah, right on the money, Jay. And we talk about ideal avatar, ideal outcome. To really simply state this, though, uh, I go through the framework of if I had my grandmother and I was trying to help her get healthy, what would I do to help her? And I wasn't thinking about the cost. I just wanted to take care of her. What would I do to help her? And I started drawing things up from that framework, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna let her go into group. She's gonna get destroyed in there. I want to like actually figure out what's going on with her lifestyle. I want to figure out what small changes we can make. I want to outline a process for her so she understands it.
Hmm.
So it seems like such a low hanging fruit thing, but I operated about 6 years without considering that. And I would say most owners go their whole career until their gym usually goes out of business, like doing that. And that's why this industry has the second highest failure rate of businesses behind restaurants.
Right.
It's
Right.
because there is no real thought into client journey and client fulfillment. And I love that about what we do is that we're helping change that.
I love it. I love it. I want to keep this moving along because we are, pretty far in. Bring me up to speed on your mindset. So we focused on outcomes. We focused on fulfillment. We grew significantly organically. Like you were actually providing the outcomes for your clients. You were getting referrals. And you grew and grew and grew. And a lot of people come to us. This is our favorite type of gym to work with, right? They actually deliver outcomes. They
Hmm.
just get stuck, right?
Hmm.
And they often get stuck at around $30,000 a month. So when you and I got started together, you were at around $30,000 a month. We knew you were delivering a high level of service. You were providing outcomes. My favorite gyms to work with are the ones that are doing that so well. But at the end of the day, it's fitness, and some
Hmm.
people aren't ready to make changes. So you will always have attrition. You'll always have cancellations. And where you were stuck is your referrals were matching your cancellations. We see this so often at $30,000 a month. So bring me up to speed. When we got started, what was your mindset? And I've actually seen your mindset change. It's been pretty amazing. When we started together, it was, I just need to, finally I've earned marketing, right?
Hmm.
And I want to just get a couple new clients a month.
Hmm.
To now, man, we feel like we have this thing in our hands, this business that can be multiple locations, multi-million dollar operation, and just like the sky's the limit. So talk to me about your mindset when we started together, $30,000 a month to now, and how you think about everything.
Yeah, well, before I viewed marketing as a slot machine, and you throw something in and hope it works, and you hope you get hot. What I've learned over the past couple of years of working together and really dialing in messaging that aligns with our business, it's such a predictable form of acquisition now, where it removes a lot of the mental hangups or that scarcity mindset. So I view it as it's an integral part of just what we do. And you spoke to the mindset of going from, I think 35 is when I originally met you, is probably where about what we were doing. And our top month so far has been a little over 70, and hitting 60 recurring. For that to happen, and the thought process, I've started operating from a place like I'm already there. So I asked myself, what would a gym owner who's collecting $1 million a month in income do? And I start making decisions like that. Well, would that version of me that's running a business doing $1 million a month, would that person be scared to spend $3,000 on paid advertising? That wouldn't even be a question. Of course they'd be doing it. Would they have internal SOPs for their team? Obviously. Would I have a CPA? Would I have someone handing me financial reports every month? Of course. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be DIYing this stuff. I wouldn't be trying to master ClickFunnels on my own. I would have people in place that do these things. And initially that was really, really scary for me, because you have to believe it before you actually have the results. And I've operated like that for about 2 years. And the outcome of that has been massive. And I know we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it's like act as if, right? And it's
Hmm.
really hard to do that when you're stuck in the survival mode of like I just need to pay my bills, but really that is how you get to the next level. I mean, you said it. It's like if you were a multi-million dollar operation, man, you would have systems for everything. And for some reason in the gym space, a lot of people think they don't need to have a predictable way to get new clients, or they just think that they can throw people into classes. Man, your gym is so dialed. You know every metric on every component, not only acquisition, but fulfillment. You measure client outcomes, you measure staff performance, you measure with our help, your acquisition, lead costs, cost per schedule, cost per show, cost per sale. And then it gets really unemotional. You can
Hmm.
just make decisions based on data. And I think that's where people need to get to. And jumping into that mindset of like, what would a multi-million dollar facility be doing? You should start moving and taking those steps. So where we're at now, I mean, 60K recurring. Honestly, the only thing that has slowed us down is your space, the size of your facility, right? So where are you at now with like, what does the next 18 months look like for Velocity?
Yeah. Um, there are still some improvements we can make with our current facility to get us to $1 million run rate out of 1,700 square feet, which has been a mental just objective of mine that I can't get out of my head. So I have to realize that. And then from there, it is scaling our current location up, getting some more square footage attached to that, taking this to a $2 million business in person, going into some more remote coaching with what we do, and scaling that up as well.
Love it. Love it. All right. With that, Brad, what do you think? I think we covered a lot of the mindset through the whole process. Anything you would say to the audience, to gym owners struggling, gym owners running a group model, churn and burn, mom and pop, 12 years into a CrossFit facility, but just feel like, maybe they're not doing things that are serving their clients at the highest level? What would you say to them just to leave them with some thoughts?
I would say it's very easy to be caught up in the day to day and be reactive when you're running a business that isn't quite providing the life that you want. Every day feels like you're just solving the problems of that day, and it can be hard to zoom out. And it's easy to wake up and you're 5 years in, 10 years in, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's happened? Like, this hasn't really gotten better. So I would say pause for a second, zoom out. Let's write out what you want your life to actually look like. And let's not think about how it's going to happen because you don't know. I want you to just think about what you want your life to look like if you are designing it from the ground up. That's step one. Step two, I want you to do the same thing for your business. Who are your dream clients? Who are you taking care of? How do you serve them? Let's get those two things. And now we actually have a framework that we can start operating from because we can envision what it's like to live that life, to serve those clients. And then we can start saying with every decision we make, is this in alignment with that? Those things will clean up your business faster than anything. There was $200,000 of personal development coaching right there, like in 20 seconds.
In 20 seconds. Well, that's a good way to end it. Look, if you're a gym owner and you're listening to this and you can serve your clients better, maybe you already do a great job at delivering outcomes. Most people need help there, but maybe you're already doing it and you just need, marketing that feels aligned, marketing that attracts your ideal client, just to help push past, that sticking point. Reach out to us, fitrevconsulting.com. Message us on Instagram. You can find brad.vhdo on Instagram. And we'll post this. And as always, if you guys need support, reach out to us. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Take care.
See you guys.